So it's been pretty much like a week since the Switch 2 launched as of this recording, and I've been playing a decent amount of Mario Kart World, but I've been also testing out a lot of the other things that the Switch 2 has to offer, like the GameCube library now that we have, and just kind of seeing how like the games that they did update, like how Scarlet and Violet got a official update where it's running very smooth now. It's actually scary how much better the game is. It's like it's a brand new game at this point with comparing it to what it was before. But then also like testing out like games that didn't get any official patch and just kind of just, you know, getting a good understanding of like how the system feels. And like the main issue that I had at first was I thought this system was not going to sell as well when it has. It's been actually selling quite well, actually. And the reason why I thought that it wasn't is because I kind of thought that it was going to be a hard sell to try and push essentially just the same system. It's just a Switch 1, just better. Like they just overall make a lot of improvements, like the size of the screen. They improve obviously performance and all that. They have like a couple unique things, like their very own Discord sort of thing. And yeah, it's just another Switch. So I kind of thought that a lot of people were just going to see that and also see the launch lineup when it's primarily just pretty much one game. I mean, they have that tech demo, but I just, even myself, I refuse to purchase because it's ridiculous to be charging even $10 for a tech demo for the Switch. So I never got to play that, but I have been playing Mario Kart World and testing out other things as well. But yeah, I just wanted to share my thoughts on the system because, again, I know it's a pretty hard decision on getting the system, mainly due to the pricing. I know that one's a big one, which is definitely a rough one. I was fortunate enough to get the Switch 2 that bundled with Mario Kart World, so I was basically paying it at a large discount. And honestly, if I was to purchase Mario Kart World like separate, which I will make a video sharing my first impressions as well with Mario Kart World, but it's not really making sense to me on the price for Mario Kart World. But again, that will be more for a separate video. But yeah, it's exactly what it is though. It is a Switch, but better. That's pretty much it. Like if that's all that you need to know, then there you go. Because after messing with it for a while, it's just that. I mean, there is nice things about it, like the way that they do the Joy-Cons this time with the whole magnet system and whatever. It feels nice. I feel like the Joy-Cons also feel a lot better. And it being a lot larger of a system also feels nice. I do really appreciate the dock. It's still kind of cheap the way that it is, especially like when you see it, like the price of it, if you were to get the dock replaced or something like that, it's still like, why is it that like expensive? It's still just kind of like just a little bit of plastic, but I do like how they made the ports a lot better. And you know, having that direct Ethernet cable, you know, spot as well is very, very nice. But yeah, like I said, it's just a Switch 2, but better. that's mainly it. But I'll talk more about like very specific things. But for starters, the quality of the screen is very nice. I like to play my Switch games primarily through the television, and it does look better. But I always had like issues with certain games like Tears of the Kingdom and stuff where if I was playing it handheld, it was running very poorly, but it was like, it still looked relatively nice. But when you compare it to where you're playing it on the television, yeah, you noticed it a lot. And what I was noticing, they haven't done a free update for like Tears of the Kingdom yet and such. I have noticed that certain games, even though they didn't get an official patch, they are running a lot better. And I noticed that even games that don't necessarily have like a performance boost on frame rate, without like the official patch and stuff, the loading screens are also a lot faster. But like, I remember playing Bowser's Fury, and that one would really struggle with frame rate, even when it's docked. But even when I was using it on handheld, it was running really smooth, and the resolution looked great. And that was like the main thing I was like noticing, is resolution. The frame rates when it's handheld is miles better than the original Switch, and that is really nice to know. Like that, okay, right out, just launch system, it's running great. Because when the Switch first came out, I mean, with like Breath of the Wild, it did struggle a lot with like frame rates and just with the resolution of it being handheld. But now it's looking really good, and I'm looking forward to the official patch where Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom will be running a lot better, because Tears of the Kingdom especially would definitely struggle even at 25 frames when you had so many things happening on the screen, or the machines that you would create. But yeah, it's now turned into where I could only really play my Switch when I was playing it through the TV, to actually not minding it being on handheld. And I don't really feel like I'm making a huge sacrifice with doing that as much as I did with the original. So that has been very, very nice. And yeah, they do have the higher quality options and all that stuff to the 4K and so on, and it's nice. It's very, very, very nice. So all that performance resolution is looking very good. I mean, we'll probably still see games down the road still probably barely running at 60, maybe even having to be locked at 30. I mean, we have games even for our current systems, the Xbox and PlayStation 5, where they're struggling at 30 frames even. So I'm not surprised if Nintendo games will still have some of them running at 30 depending on what they are. But I've been hearing at least like some good things about a lot, even like Cyberpunk. There's been a lot of just kind of doubts on it going to be a game that you want to play on your Switch too, because Cyberpunk is a very hefty game when it comes to performance and so on. But apparently I've been hearing, I haven't played it myself on the Switch too, but I've been hearing that it's actually relatively good. Like, it's not running awfully at all. But yeah, overall, it's nice. There were a couple articles and people freaking out saying that the Joy-Con drift was happening already, and I panicked when I was reading about that, because that was one of the biggest issues about the original Switch. But it was actually primarily found out that it was just people not realizing that they had tilt controls and stuff on Mario Kart World, because that's what primarily everyone's playing, and a lot of people had that feature on. And I'm not saying that it's not possible that there would be issues down the road. I mean, who knows? I remember when the Switch first launched, there was no issues, and then fast forward like a couple months, maybe even like to a year, you start to notice like a lot of issues happening to the system. So hopefully that will not happen. Like, let's hope that down the road, as we continue to play on the system, we don't start seeing some scary things popping up. But for now, it's going very well. The Joy-Cons feel great. You don't even really need the straps anymore to play, the Joy-Cons like sideways if you want to do it that way. And it's really nice that we now have the GameCube option in the Switch Online service. It's still disappointing that how the Switch Online service is, like, with how much it is, and it just feels like they really, really drip feed a little too much when it comes to what is added to the library for like the N64 and such. And a lot of the games are like games that you're just like, well, I don't care for this. Like, where's the big ones? So I am hoping that when it comes to GameCube, we will see those big games. I mean, it's shocking that they didn't even have Smash Brothers Melee as a launch choice inside that library, because I feel like that would be probably the most smartest move, because you could have the online service working with it and such. And they do have Wind Waker, but I still just want the Wii U version. That one is a remaster where they upscale the textures, there's better lighting and all that, the widescreen option and everything. It's a way better version. It does look nice through the GameCube service, but it's still not as good as the Wii U version. So I'm really hoping that they actually port that one to the Switch 2. Mario Kart World as a launch title, it's nice. I'm never really that crazy about Mario Kart, but maybe that'll change because I've been playing it a little bit, obviously, because it's the only game that I can really play that's exclusive on the Switch 2 right now. But I'm enjoying it. Like, I am, but I'll go into more of like how I'm fully feeling about it as a separate video. But it's nice. It just kind of really disappoints me that they didn't have at least like two, or like hopefully like it would have been nice if they had like a third exclusive Nintendo Switch 2 game that was like a big title, like a big IP name or something at launch, because having primarily just Mario Kart World is disappointing. I mean, I know that we have that Donkey Kong game in July, which I cannot wait for that one. Metroid Prime, we have no idea when, but they're saying that it's still going to be this year, hopefully. And we have Pokemon ZA, I believe, happening in October. But yeah, I'm shocked that there's no 3D Mario platformer announced yet, or we don't. Oh yeah, there's also the Kirby Air Riders. That's also going to be, I believe that's also going to be happening sometime in this year as well, hopefully. But we still don't know what they'll probably do with like Smash Brothers, because I know that the last one was like this big finale kind of feeling of the game, which I hope that's not true. I hope we will see something for the Switch 2. And I mean, yeah, like it's just nothing for Zelda at the moment. There's, like I said, it's just like the launch title lineup was just Mario Kart, and now we have to wait for the other games. And I know when it comes to my hopes, like I know that they plan on doing some of these things, but like especially like a Mario platformer, I'm pretty sure that they are definitely working on something in the background. I'm hoping to see Pikmin as well, but I know one of the games that they probably are and have been working on is most definitely Animal Crossing, because that game for the Switch sold insanely well. Like I don't even remember the exact numbers of how many copies, but it was like quadruple in sales compared to like any of the other ones that did like the best. It did way better than any of the Animal Crossing games, and they normally always do pretty well, but this one really it blew up. It was insanely well received, and I know that they're working on that. I mean, I'd be shocked if they're not, but I am hoping for them to do a Nintendo Direct and kind of give more details of more exclusives that will be releasing through, like, hopefully as early as this coming fall and winter. But I know that most things won't be happening until like possibly next year, going into like the spring, summer, and especially fall. But yeah, overall, I'm pleased with the system. I do feel like it was a little bit pricey for what it is. Like it's not as like crazy as they make it out to be for the most part, but that's kind of where like I wish that the price was not as big, but it's definitely has that strengths of like the performance, the resolution, just the promise of brand new Nintendo games, and being able to have like a huge library of great games. I mean, Mario Kart World in itself looks beautiful. It runs great. So it makes me excited to see what future titles will be like when it comes to the Nintendo IPs. But yeah, it's like I said, it's a Switch 2, but better. That's it. Like, if that's not enough to really sell the system, I mean, that's understandable. I mean, I would, if you primarily care about games, which I do. I mean, I do like the extra performance and all that, but I really, 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 really care about primarily the video games. And right now, there's not much for now. But like I said, I'm really excited about that Donkey Kong game that's coming out in July, and that's going to be right around the corner. So I hope that one turns out very well. But yep, that's pretty much it. I mean, that's overall how I'm feeling. I didn't really mess with the whole their version of Discord and stuff, but I've heard people say that it's okay, but it definitely it's got its issues. It's not like perfect. It's not running super smooth all the time, but it's just a nice like added little thing. So, there's that. Yeah, I'm just looking forward to where like the games are going to be down the road, like, a year from now and so on. So that I'm liking it. I don't think that it's like you don't really need to go crazy right now unless you really want Mario Kart and you really just want to have the system now just to have it. But if you want to wait to see like how the Donkey Kong game turns out, or you're waiting for Metroid Prime, you could definitely wait. But yeah, it's nice. It's just which one? Just better. That's primarily it. But thank you so much for listening. What are your thoughts on the system if you have it or not? Like, what do you honestly feel about this new Switch console? Let me know in the comments down below. But regardless, I hope you have a chibi-tastic day, night, evening, wherever you are. And I'll see you in the next video. Chibi out.